Hi everyone, this is Ricky with Ink on 3. This is my debut video because I am now part of the Ink on 3 design team. So we're going to go ahead and make a card with some of their products and I'm showing them off here. We're going to be using the stamp set called Gorgeous. We're going to be using pattern paper and some white cardstock, and we're going to be using the Leafy Forest stencil and then some ink pads here. We have Bee Sting yellow and Goddess green, and then that white one was a stamp cleaner. We're going to be using some blending brushes, and we're going to be using this pattern paper that is from MFT. I believe I'm going to show it here. Yeah, there we go. This is from the MFT Spring Whimsy pack. And we're going to be doing some paper piecing as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the lady with the hat stamped out on the pattern paper. And I'm just using some regular black ink here. You could use pretty much anything. We're not doing any coloring on this paper, so you could just use like a dye ink or whatever. Whatever you have is great. So we're going to go ahead and get her onto the Misty here. And I want to make sure it's in the very corner because we don't want it to slide or anything. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and ink her up. I'm going to rub down the stamp because it's the first time I'm using it. And we're just going to go ahead and get this stamped over. And then as I lift it, it looks like it may need a little more ink, but we're going to be cutting out, so we're not even going to have to really do with that. The next thing I'm going to do is at first I was going to use this as a background, and that's why I used the craft knife. Now I didn't use the background, so I should have just, cut it out and just thrown away the extra pieces of paper. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this. I'm not going to show you the whole thing here because no one wants to see all that. So here we are at the final edge. We're going to go ahead and get this fussy cut, and then I'm going to take a black marker and then just take the black marker all along the edges of what I've cut out, because you kind of don't want white paper to show as you're going through this process. Now the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get her stamped out on some white cardstock, because we're actually going to do some Copic coloring of her face. So you'll want to make sure that you use a Copic friendly ink here, and so that your markers don't spread the ink. I'm just using Gina K here. And then we're going to go ahead and get started coloring. So make sure that you come back here in a few minutes. Or you can fast forward to 5 minutes and 38 seconds and skip this whole thing if you'd like. Okay, now that we have the coloring done, we're going to go ahead and get the hat glued on to the woman here. And you're just going to place that onto the cardstock here, just like you know, normally would if you were going to be coloring or placing anything on a card. And also, I don't think I showed this on the video, but I do take the black marker along the bottom of her neck and along some of the hat to get rid of some of the white that's along the side. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to start working on the background that I'm going to place this on. We're going to be using the Leafy Jungle stencil here. And I'm just going to get the stencil ready. I'm just going to use some yellow tape here that I have. And then we're going to use some of those blending brushes and use the ink from Ink on 3 to get this blended on. And I have to say, these inks blend really good on cardstock. I mean, really good. So first we're going to put the yellow on and just put it in various areas. Doesn't matter where you put it. You just put it where you put it, where you want to put it. If you want it all yellow, you can do it all yellow. I decided to do yellow and green. So anywhere there is not any yellow, we are going to be using the green, which is Goddess Green. The yellow is Bee Sting Yellow. And because these colors kind of blend together, it doesn't matter if you go over the yellow a little bit, it's fine. You just make it the way that you want it to be. So I go back on here and I put in a little bit more ink. I tap it off on the side because I don't want it to be, you know, too dark. And I just go back and forth a little bit just until I get it to where I want it to be. And then it's complete, and then we could start putting the card together. We will have to do a sentiment first. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to do Hello Gorgeous. I'm going to do this on black cardstock with some white heat embossing. It's pretty much my favorite thing to do. And so I'm going to line this up. Of course, you cannot see it on camera right now. Oh, there we go. I got it scooted up for you. I'm going to try to get this pretty even here. And of course, my head shows up, and that's how you know that I'm trying to get something even. The same thing, I'm going to rub the stamp. I'd never used them before. I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy powder here to go ahead and get that placed onto the black cardstock so that it does not, so that the embossing powder does not stick to the paper, because you don't want that. We're going to be using some Ink on 3 Arctic White embossing powder. And there I go. I'm just scraping that across the side of the paper. If you do get extra powder on there, we can wipe it off later. So I'm going to lightly tap this. I'm going to ink it up again and lightly tap again because I don't want the letters to squish down and make it thicker than it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and pour on the white embossing powder and then go ahead and get this heat embossed. I don't show you that whole process because heat embossing is heat embossing, even though it's magical and I love it. It takes forever and it just makes the video longer. So the next thing we're going to do is use the sentiment strip die here to go ahead and get this sentiment cut out. And then once that comes out from the die cutting machine, I'm going to go ahead and put that onto a trimmer so that I can get that cut down to where I want it to be. I'm using some random purple tape here that I have that was on my desk. I tend to have like thousands of pieces of tape on my desk just chilling, waiting to be used over and over again. So now as we have the sentiment out, I'm just going to go ahead and get this into a trimmer and go ahead and get that cut down to be a little bit smaller. And then we're going to go ahead and get the card put together. The first thing we're going to do is put the leaf card panel down onto the black cardstock so that we could have a frame around this. And then once we get that down, then we're going to be putting some 3M foam tape on the back of the head of the woman and the sentiment. And then I'll go ahead and get that peeled off there. And on here I'm playing around because I wanted to see exactly where I wanted to put the sentiment. And I kind of like putting the sentiment vertically, but it didn't really work out well for this card. So we're going to go ahead and get her placed onto the card. And then we'll also remove the backing from the sentiment and go ahead and get that placed on there. And then we're going to glue this whole panel to the card base here, which is 110 pound Nina Solar White cardstock. And now that we got this glued down, it's time to bring out the big guns. We're going to bring out the sparkly stuff. So I'm going to find some colored pearls here that I think would look good on this. I go back and forth and add a gajabillion to these and then take them off and then put them on and then take them off and then put them on. And then I eventually find the ones that I would like to glue onto the card. And we're going to go ahead and get that started. And while I'm doing that, I want to thank you guys for watching my video today. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll check out Ink on 3 and all their products over on their website. You can also follow them on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram by searching for Bromero Cards. I would love for you to go check out some of the creations that I don't have videos for. And I want to thank you guys very much. You guys have a great week, and I look forward to making more projects with Ink on 3. I'm so excited to be on their team, and I hope that you guys will come back and watch more. You can also watch this video on their YouTube channel. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.